everybody. My name is Jessie and I do perfume reviews in ASMR formats. So if you like perfume and also if you enjoy ASMR, you are in a good place for our video today. Today I am reviewing a mini of Chanel number 19. This is definitely an old-fashioned fragrance. It's been around for quite a while. I had heard of it before. I'd heard it mentioned as a green fragrance, and it definitely is a green fragrance. So I found this in a bundle with a mini of, I think, Estee Lauder Bronze Goddess, and I was like, oh my gosh, gotta try it. So I have, it's so tiny. Look at this little baby. It's just a little baby 4 milliliter size. It's so cute. I love the little label. Only issue is that it's a dabber, so you cannot spray, but that's just how that goes. So yeah, we're gonna do a little review of this little fragrance today. Alright, and I did try to dress on theme today, as you can see. I've got, well, I decided to review this fragrance rather because I was already wearing this outfit, and I realized I had a green perfume, but I've got this green dress, and I've got some green earrings. I think these are, oh my gosh, what is this stone called? Malachite. I just had to look it up online. These are malachite little triangles that I found at a jewelry store, and I put them on fish hooks and made them into earrings. So that is the look for today, just matching this very green fragrance. Okay, so let's go ahead and start by reading the main accords from this fragrance, and I just wanted to look and see when this fragrance was first released. It doesn't say on Fragrantica, but I just looked it up online, and this was released first in 1971. I honestly thought it was older than that, but yeah, 1971. I'm assuming that it's been reformulated a few times since then, but it still smells very, very vintage. Okay, so let's look at the main accords together. We have green, earthy, woody, iris, mossy, aromatic, citrus, powdery, white floral, rose. So it's got a lot of very earthy, natural type of accords: green, earthy, woody, mossy, aromatic. So yeah, kind of excited to smell this fragrance. I have a new deck of little papers to use. It says Flower Fairy. Did you all see this book growing up? I totally forget what it's called, but it was a fairy book, and it had pictures of fairies with different plants and flowers. So it's like little cards from that book. This is the Nightshade family, or the Nightshade fairy, sorry. But this book is so nostalgic of my childhood, because as a child we had a fairy house, and so my sister and I believed in fairies for a few years, and yeah. So I'm gonna just gently dab this because, like I said, it's a dabber. So I'm just gonna actually go like that. has dried down. It is very, yeah, it's earthy, it's woody, it's deep. I thought honestly it might be a little bit brighter and fresher, but it's actually very deep. It is very deep and woody. I would say I probably get woody as the main accord, and it almost comes through as spicy to me. I don't see any spicy accords. I haven't really looked at the notes yet. I looked at them like a few weeks ago, but I forget honestly what's in it now. Yeah, it's like very woody, earthy, almost like spicy. There might be some, I don't know if there's patchouli, but yeah. And it's a little powdery, and it's green, but I get so much like depth that the greenness almost isn't as noticeable. Like the green and the citrus is not quite as noticeable to me. Okay. So yeah, and very vintage smelling. It's definitely not mass appealing. I think a lot of people would not want to wear perfume that smells this vintage. Me personally, I don't think I would want to wear something that smells this vintage. Not now, at least. As my taste grows and evolves, maybe that will change. But all right, so let's look at the notes together. So for our top notes, we have 3 top notes, and they are green notes, bergamot, and neroli. So citrusy green top notes. And I do get those now that this has dried down a little more. I'm getting more of a fresh green powderiness to it. Whereas I think initially I was just getting a bunch of the base notes, strangely enough. But yeah, anyway, so I'm getting citrus and I'm getting green notes. So I'm getting the top notes. For our middle notes, we have five middle notes. They are all florals. They are iris, rose, narcissus, lily of the valley, and ylang ylang. I think I'm getting some iris, maybe a touch of lily of the valley, or I don't know, is narcissus a touch spicy? I feel like I'm getting something that's a touch spicy. I'm not sure. But anyway, yeah, so I would say I'm getting some iris, maybe lily of the valley, maybe narcissus, I'm not sure. Okay, and then in our base notes, we have four base notes, and they are oak moss, vetiver, leather, and sandalwood. Leather, okay, that makes sense. That is definitely providing quite a bit of depth and earthiness and just kind of boldness. I am getting, I would say most notably, the oak moss, vetiver, and leather. Yeah, so this is one of those fragrances where I definitely feel like I smell a lot of the notes. I get green notes, I get the moss note, vetiver, leather, I think some iris predominantly, nothing super floral at all, I would say. Yeah, so it's like kind of like a earthy, leathery, powdery green fragrance to me. Let's show the votes and see what other users are smelling most. They say they are smelling firstly green notes, then iris, then moss, then vetiver, then rose, leather, bergamot, narcissus, neroli, lily of the valley, sandalwood, and ylang ylang. So green notes, iris, and moss are the top 3, and I can see that. And yeah, it definitely, when I first dabbed this on, it seemed a lot stronger. It's toned down quite a bit already. But yeah, it's a very naturalistic smelling fragrance to me. I feel like this is very unisex. I'm not sure what other people, let's see what they say, but to me, this is like totally unisex, although I think it's, yeah, it's for women, it's marketed for women, but to me it reads as 100% unisex, maybe if anything, almost a little bit more masculine leaning to me. Yeah, so let's look at some other information about this fragrance. So it has a rating of 4.19 out of 5 with 5,630 votes. Like I said, it was launched in 1971, so it's been around for quite a while. In terms of, I have not worn this myself. I'm going to be reselling it, and I didn't want to use any more than's already used. So, disclaimer, I've not worn it, so I can't speak to it as accurately and fully, but the users on Fragrantica are saying that the longevity is pretty good, maybe like a 7 out of 10, so pretty good longevity. Sillage, they're saying, is on the moderate mid-range end, like a 4 or 5 out of 10, so not super strong projecting, but not poor projecting. Gender, people are saying it is unisex but feminine leaning. I think to me it just seems straight up unisex to me. Maybe a little feminine leaning, I guess. Price value, people are saying it's a little overpriced. I don't know what this runs, but I bet it's expensive. I bet this is an expensive bottle. I mean, I paid like 20 something, $25 or something, but this is so tiny. So, all right. Also, before we read some reviews of this fragrance, I just wanted to show you my other two. I think I only have 2 other Chanel fragrances. I'm like looking at my collection. I think it's just these 2 right now. I have some samples of other ones, but I have Chanel Coco Mademoiselle. I bought the bottle like this. I bought it used, so I didn't use all of this myself, but I really love this fragrance. It is so, oh my god, it's so good. It's just so classy. The way that Chanel does patchouli to me is absolutely heavenly. It's so smooth and beautifully refined. I like earthier, somewhat dirtier patchoulis, but this one is not, and I like this too. I like patchouli as long as it's not too insane. This is very, to me, very dominant in patchouli, but it's not. Oh, it's so much more. It's, I think the main things I get from this is patchouli, rose, and orange. Really beautiful fragrance, very classic. So that's Chanel Coco Mademoiselle. And then this other fragrance I have a mini of, and I absolutely love, it's Chanel 1957. This fragrance is so beautiful. When was this released? 2019. So this was a newer release, and it has kind of a vintage touch, but in a very modern, easy to wear way. It's powdery, musky. It's got a bunch of musk in it. It's also got orris root, so it's got that lilac, not lilac, oh my god, why am I blinking? Iris. I like purple flowers. It's got that iris accord from the orris root. It's got aldehydes as well, so it's kind of like a powdery, musky, but slightly sparkling fragrance. It's got some other notes too, like coriander, pink pepper, bergamot. So yeah, I really, really like this one a lot. My only issue with it is that the longevity is, from what I can tell, is pretty poor, like actually very poor, because I spray a lot on my clothing, expect it to last longer than on skin, and this does not last very long on clothing. It's also pretty light to begin with, so you have to just spray a lot, and that's fine, except it's expensive, so. But anyway, I love this one, Chanel 1957. Oh, okay. I was like, where did this one go? It's so tiny. Okay, so let's finish up by reading some reviews of Chanel number 19, Eau de Toilette. So I'm just gonna pick some reviews on Fragrantica, see what people have to say. Someone said, I'm a vintage number 19 hoarder. I had not smelled the current formula EDP until I got a bottle a year or so ago. Comparing the current beautiful bottle to the gray cartridge EDP from the late 90s. In the opening, the vintage is sweeter, rounder, and oilier in a good way. The current formulation is drier, and I sense pale vetiver very early on. It's a more spare and open, thus I feel it would be a superb masculine. I think this person's probably English second language, because there's like some words that are not included and stuff. But anyway, somebody else says, smells like a fresh summer day. It's the most natural smelling perfume I've discovered, perfect to wear to work, but I prefer the poudre version on my skin. Just like poudre, it gradually meshes with the skin chemistry and becomes better in the dry down. So poudre, maybe that's like a flanker or something of number 19, I'm not sure. Somebody says, the opening is very green, but rounder, and I get a little leather that is also smooth. I smell some flowers also, about an hour and a half, and it's more floral, with Lily of the Valley being one of the flowers I can pick out. The leather is way in the background, and it's smooth. It is still green, but in a softer way, and I think that it is beautiful. A gorgeous springtime fragrance that is very sophisticated. To me, this reads as fall. I think just like the moss and the leather, to me, it feels very earthy and green, and so makes me think of fall, personally. Yeah, as it's dried down, it's gotten softer and softer, I would say. All right, somebody says, nice green / gray type of fragrance. It smells extremely classy. It definitely leans feminine, and I can see why they chose to market it in that direction, but it could be worn by a man, I think. It has some soapy tendencies, but I don't interpret it as soap. I love soapy fragrances, but it does feel clean with some polish. The Neroli Iris combo here is so well done. Unfortunately, on my skin, it didn't seem to last the first couple times I tested it. Let's find somebody who does not like this fragrance and see what they have to say. Somebody says, sharp greens, earthy oak moss, dry powder, leather, and bitter high-pitched. This is instant first-class high society. Is Chanel number 19 would be a woman. She would be a high-collared, prude, intelligent, obtained in a high position, strong, independent, and always right and says no to everything. She's the female boss that you hate to envy. A number 19 have get-togethers over fancy lunches, give the poor waiter a hard time, and gossip pouring out of her cool yet sophisticated lips. While this is pleasant to some, I appreciate number 19, but I cannot stand to wear this. The notes and I don't agree. I guess I kind of feel the same way that I really appreciate the craftsmanship. That's not something that I personally want to smell like. there are, it feels like maybe some, it's interesting. It's like powdery, but there's also some like sharp edges to it or something. And I just tend to struggle a little bit with leathery notes. I love moss. I love patchouli. Not that there's patchouli in this one, but I love earthy notes. But leather, I struggle with a little bit. I like vetiver, but not too much. But yeah, this is not something I would wear personally. But it is very classy, very, yeah, just very unique. Probably not something that a lot of people can pull off unless you feel confident in yourself and you appreciate, more old school luxury fragrances, I would say. So anyway, that is my review of Chanel number 19. I hope you enjoyed this fragrance review, and thank you all so much for your support. Sending you all love and peace. I'll catch you all again soon.